Princess Laila can't sleep. The kingdom is worried, and so they call in the magical doctor, Miss Melissa. The mature older woman gets close to Lydia as they work towards a cure. Their work comes to fruition, and Laila must reveal her heart's desire and pave a path for her future. Hello and welcome, it is I, Lynx, and we are going to play Princess Laila Doesn't Sleep. Well, a problem I definitely am very familiar with. The last couple of days have gotten better. Yeah. So from Leaflet Games, who is basically the maker of the game. We've played Eternal Autumn, and we played Small Town Big Secrets, so 2 games. And, well, I guess we'll play the third one very close to the very end of the year. Let's get to it.
Oh, the relentless, cruel, unforgiving night that clings to my soul, kiss your endless torment.
The throne room, a splendid, majestic, opulent space, was aglow with a soft, shimmering, golden light filtering through the stained glass windows. The walls, adorned with vibrant, intricate tapestries, told tales of ancient, legendary heroics. Did they? That's interesting. The air was heavy with the scent of blooming, fragrant flowers, strategically placed around the room. They're also strategically placed in spaces that we cannot see. At the center, Princess Laila, a vision of ethereal beauty.
I don't know about that, man.
Pale and delicate, sat upon her ornate, gilded throne. Her eyes, bright yet tired, flickered with her restless energy.
Fear not, fair young noble princess. I'm here, armed with ancient, forbidden, powerful wisdom to vanquish your vile, pesky, stubborn ailment.
Yeah, that forbidden should trigger you. Laila looked up, hope sparkling in her weary eyes. The court, a collection of curious, anxious, eager faces, watches on, whispering among themselves.
Oh, wise bravest Miss Melissa, can you truly snatch me from the jaws of this dreadful dark deep abyss? My dear, sweet, troubled woman, we shall explore every nook, every cranny of mystical, magical, ancient lore. Together, we shall find a cure, a remedy, a salvation.
The room fell silent, the air thick with anticipation.
Let it be known, far and wide, from the highest, loftiest tower to the deepest, darkest dungeon. No stone shall remain unturned, no spell uncast, no potion untasted until our beloved, cherished, esteemed Princess Laila finds her much-deserved, long-awaited, blissful rest.
Sounds ominous, to be quite honest. The court erupted in a chorus of cheers, claps, and relieved sighs. Princess Laila managed a weak, grateful smile.
So be it. From now on you are hired as my personal doctor. Do not disappoint me.
We'll see about that. Laila's bedchamber is a serene, peaceful sanctuary, filled with large, blooming, vibrant plants, which I guess, once again, strategically are placed in the corners, for example, that we cannot see, and the soft, melodic, soothing sound of a distant waterfall. Dude, also very quiet music in here. Sunlight streams through the windows, casting a gentle, calming, warm glow across the room. Oh, now a little, okay. There is something happening in the music department now, yes.
All right, my dear, brave, resilient princess. Let's dive into the mysterious, puzzling, enchanted depths of this curious, perplexing, stubborn affliction.
Laila watched, fascinated yet apprehensive.
Do your instruments reveal the secrets of the soul, Miss Melissa? Oh, they reveal much, much more, my dear. They whisper the tales of energies, spirits, and shadows unseen yet ever-present, hidden yet profoundly influential.
By the way, it sounds like something from like, I don't know, 18th century? Something like that. I feel like they should be given like all their clothes and it would be fitting. And because, I mean, let's face it, back then the doctors were full of bullshit like this. She began her examination, waving a crystal-tipped wand over Laila's body. The crystal glowed with a pulsating, hypnotic light, casting prismatic, dancing colors around the room.
Huh. Intriguing, baffling, puzzling. The energies are all askew, tangled like a knotted, sour and twisted vine.
Miss Melissa placed her hands just above Laila, feeling the air. Her brow furrowed in concentration.
This is no ordinary common rune of the meal spell. This is ancient, powerful, deeply woven magic, crafted with skill, precision, and a touch of vengeance, perhaps.
Laila's eyes widened in alarm, her voice a whisper of silk and shadows.
Vengeance? But who would harbor such a dark, deep, bitter feelings against me? That, my dear, is what we must discover. But fear not, for I have faced many dark, daunting, dangerous magic in my time, and I have always emerged victorious, triumphant, unscathed.
Miss Melissa's confidence seems to comfort Laila, who managed a small, hopeful smile. The magical doctor packed away her instruments, her mind racing with theories, clues, and possibilities.
Gather your strength, princess, for we have a challenging, arduous, thrilling journey ahead.
Do we? The throne was dimly lit by flickering, glowing serene candles that cast long, dancing, mysterious shadows across the grand, opulent hall. I feel like there is... Yeah, I feel like there is a strong overuse of adjectives in this this game. Like, every single thing has multiple adjectives. Why? Come on. That's overkill. The mood was tense, charged, uneasy. See? About the mood, 3 adjectives already. The court was gathered with expressions filled with... Dude. Concern, curiosity, and a touch of fear. Again. Jesus Christ, it's one... Okay, technically 2 lines, but... so many. Princess Laila stood beside her throne, a figure of fragile, quiet, stoic grace. Miss Melissa stepped forward, her demeanor serious, earnest, determined. Is the story AI generated? Is this written by AI? Dude. Every time, 3 adjectives.
Noble lords, esteemed ladies, dear loyal subjects, the nature of this spell is complex, cunning, and critically severe. To break it, I must observe the princess throughout the dark, silent, secretive night.
Just say throughout the night, for fuck's sake. Whispers rippled through the court like a swift, disturbing breeze. Wow, just 2 adjectives this time. The queen, a regal, dignified, stately woman, stepped forward, her brow furrowed with maternal concern. I'll be honest. Right at this moment, because I feel like this is AI written, I would totally jump to another game. But it's 2 in the morning, and I actually do not know which one of them might be like, I don't know, like an hour-long max, something like that. Anywho.
Miss Melissa, are you certain this is necessary? Our beloved Laila's virtue?
Oh, it's okay. Whatever, can be same voice. Let's say that Laila got the same voice as Queen, yeah. It's running in the family.
Her reputation must remain pristine, unblemished, untarnished.
1, 2, 3.
Your Grace, I understand your fears, your concerns, your reservations. Jesus Christ. But I assure you, this is the only way to see true, hidden, elusive nature. of this enchantment. My methods are respectful, discreet, and strictly professional.
Laila, step forward, her voice soft yet filled with resolve, and addressed the court. I need to have a look at the game page. Jesus. Princess Laila Doesn't Sleep. The CGs were created a while ago with older technology, so they are somewhat charmingly smooshy. What? The thing is, you said with older technology. I don't like that. Next. Oh, some content made with help of AI. I freaking knew it. God damn it. Come on, why are you doing this? You've made games which were not like that, so why did you jump into that now? Leaflet games. Come on. I'm so disappointed in you right now. Not happy at all. Not happy in the slightest. We'll finish this anyway. Let's do it. Using constantly free adjectives to describe everything. Laila, step forward, her voice soft yet filled with resolve, and addressed the court.
My dear mother, and all gathered here at last, Miss Melissa, we must do everything, spare no effort, overlook no possibility to leave the curse. I implore you, let us proceed with our plan.
Silence fell, heavy and contemplative. After a moment, the king, a wise, noble, commanding figure, rose from his throne.
We should trust in the expertise, the honor, the integrity of Miss Melissa. Let it be known that her actions are done with our full consent, our complete agreement, our unreserved blessing.
The court, though still uneasy, nodded in agreement. The decision made. Miss Melissa bowed deeply, gratitude and determination etched on her face.
Thank you, Your Majesties, noble court. I'll not fail you. Tonight we may finally glimpse the truth of this vexing, elusive, dark spell.
As the court dispersed, the tension eases slightly, replaced by a spark of hope. As darkness fell, Miss Melissa began her vigil by Princess Laila's side, and became a silent witness to the young maiden's torment. Princess Laila, with her delicate features and porcelain skin, lay upon her bed, a vision of loveliness amidst the grandeur of her chambers. Her long, amber hair cascaded down her back like a waterfall of sunlight, while her eyes, as blue as the clear sky, gazed up at Melissa with a mixture of hope and trepidation. Throughout the long, restless night, Miss Melissa remained ever watchful, never stopping her watch over the prone form of the princess. At one point, Laila's body contorted and twisted with a fervor that was both heart-wrenching and perplexing. Okay. I mean, maybe AI generated, but still looks decent. She even removed her garments, revealing a figure as pale as slender as the moonlight that bathed in the room. Melissa observed Laila, agonized to drink her sleep. Miss Melissa watched only in mute disbelief of all of that. At certain points, the princess seemed unaware, but the room was heavy. With a final shuddering cry, the princess erupted in a burst of pain, her body drenched in sweat. As the princess lay back to catch her breath, Miss Melissa observed her closely, consulting the huge grimoire on her lap. Eventually the sun rose, and although Miss Melissa was no closer to a cure, she vowed to try again the next night. Laila got up without a word and rosily went out about her day. The next night, the room was bathed in a soft, soothing silver glow of moonlight, filtering through sheer flowing curtains. The atmosphere was calm, tranquil, yet filled with a palpable sense of anticipation. Princess Laila laid in her bed, her form still, her breathing even. If it was not for her eyes open and roaming around the room in wakefulness, thank God it's not wakefulness, she would be the epitome of serene, peaceful slumber. Miss Melissa sat beside her, a vigilant, watchful, focused guardian. She consulted various mystical glowing artifacts and ancient whispering scrolls spread out around her. No change, no sign, no clue. The spell is crafty, elusive, profoundly secretive. Hours passed. The candlelight flickered, casting shifting, ghostly, dancing shadows across the room. Miss Melissa leaned closer, her eyes scanning the princess's peaceful face for any sign of disturbance.
What secrets hold you captive, dear princess? What key unlocks the chains of your endless, tormenting wakefulness?
Laila didn't respond, and Melissa waved a hand over her in a gentle, sweeping gesture, and a soft, luminescent, ethereal glow emanated from her palm. The light hovered over Laila, yet revealed nothing new.
Invisible, intangible, impervious to my touch or sight. No conclusion tonight, but I am not defeated. I shall seek out ancient, forgotten lore, consult with sages, scholars, and seers. There must be a solution, a remedy, an answer.
Princess Laila stirred slightly, lifting her head to regard Miss Melissa. Miss Melissa watched her for a moment longer, a mix of admiration and worry in her eyes.
Try to rest now, princess. We battle again on the morrow.
After a week with no change to the princess's condition, the king and queen decided to hold a fest in celebration of Miss Melissa's efforts, in the hopes inspiring her success. Yeah, that's not gonna help. What's the point? The hall was bustling, lively, and filled with the rich, savory aromas of a midday fest. Long tables were laden with sumptuous, delectable dishes, gleaming fruits, succulent meats, and freshly baked breads. The court was gathered, their voices a blend of laughter, chatter, and clinking silverware. At the head table, Princess Laila sat, still pale but poised next to Miss Melissa, who was in high spirits, her eyes twinkling with mischief and pride.
Noble friends, esteemed guests, and our beloved patient princess, let me regale you with the tales of my magical feats, my daring adventures in the realms of the arcane.
I don't think anyone would care, like, come on, solve this one. The court turned to listen. Stumbling forward with eager, amused smiles, Miss Melissa flourished her hands dramatically as she spoke.
Why, once I wrested a spell from the very clutches of a tempest, a storm, so fierce, so wild, it could swallow a ship's hull, and yet I tamed it but with a whisper.
Yeah. The crowd reacted with gasps and laughter, clearly entertained. Laila, however, stifled a yawn, her expression one of fond amused tolerance.
Oh, Miss Melissa, do tell us, was this storm as relentless as your storytelling?
Laughter rippled through the hall, even louder this time. The older woman, not missing a beat, winked at Laila.
Oh, my dear princess, if only your affliction could be charmed away by my tales, we'd have cured you long ago.
The court chuckled, enjoying the light-hearted banter.
And let's not forget the time I coaxed the dragon into giving up a treasure it had guarded for centuries, simply by out-talking it. Truly, Miss Melissa, your powers are as boundless as they are noisy. Perhaps tonight you could bear the curse into submission.
The hall erupted in laughter once more, and Miss Melissa bowed dramatically, accepting the jet with good grace. I think the princess was, like, not trying to make anyone laugh with that one. More like mocking her. You talk so much, but you don't deliver. Anyway.
Well played, princess, well played. If laughter proves the cure, consider it my next grand spell.
As the first continued, the mood light and joyful, there was a sense of camaraderie and hope that perhaps through their combined efforts, the curse might indeed be lifted, whether by magic, wit, or sheer perseverance. The night after the fest, the princess's room was aglow, dimly lit by a single, flickering candle that cast long shadows across the ornate walls. Princess Laila lay in her bed, her expression one of irritation and discomfort, as she shifted under the heavy silk blankets.
Must really sit there all night? It's like sleeping under the gaze of an owl. My dear, consider me rather kindly owl. One that seeks only to aid you, not to peck or pry.
Laila sighed heavily, turning to face the wall, her voice thick with expiration.
I suppose you must what you could at least do so less intensely. Very well. I shall strive to be discreet, almost invisible presence. Would you prefer I read aloud? It might make the night less oppressive.
Laila paused, considering then, nodded slightly, still facing away. Miss Melissa selected a book and her voice turned warm and inviting.
Oh, here is something about the ancient gardens on Moonvale. Supposedly they were so serene. Even the moon lingered longer there to enjoy the view.
As Miss Melissa read, her voice smooth and rhythmic, Laila's irritation began to ease. She found herself listening intently, drowning despite herself.
Did the gardens really exist, or is it just a tale? In magic, my dear, all tales hold a seed of truth. Moonvale might not exist on any map drawn by men, but in your minds it's as real as this room.
Laila turned towards Miss Melissa. Her expression softened, intrigued.
Tell me more about those magical places. Do you think I could ever see one? Why? I believe a princess of your spirit could not only visit them, but perhaps even create one. Shall we plant your garden then? What would you plant?
The night progressed, and the earlier tension dissolved into a conversation filled with whimsy and laughter. As they talked over days to come, Laila's initial annoyance faded, replaced by a genuine interest in her old wise companion. They discussed magical plants, medical landscapes, and slowly a bond began to form. Interesting. In time, Laila and Miss Melissa began to spend time together while the sun was up as well. On one such day, the grand throne room was quiet, with only the soft crackling of the fireplace breaking the silence. Shelves laden with books cast long shadows in the flickering light. Princess Laila and Miss Melissa were seated on a comfortable couch, surrounded by piles of ancient texts and magical scrolls. Laila held up a cup of tea, her hands wrapped around it for warmth, her expression somber.
Nice, I've never fully expressed how hard this curse has been on me. It's more than just the sleepless nights. It feels like being trapped in a fog, constantly feeling lost within my own life. It's a heavy burden, Laila. Magic, especially dark magic, has a way of seeping the cracks of our spirit. It's not just a physical ailment. It tangles with your thoughts, your emotions. Yeah, it's lonely. I'm surrounded by people, but this curse, it isolates me. There were nights I just wandered the castle gardens trying to feel something other than the exhaustion and despair.
Miss Melissa reached out, placing a comforting hand on Laila's arm.
You're incredibly strong, Laila. To endure so much, it's still home to hope. That's not something everyone can do. I don't always feel strong. There are moments I doubt that I'll ever find relief or understand why this was happening to me. But having you here sharing this burden, it's made all the difference.
By the way, I noticed that the, constant free adjectives stopped. It's like just the beginning made by AI, or did AI suddenly improve, or... Anyway, you've never been loneliest, even at your loneliest. Remember that. We're in this together and we'll find a way to break the curse, no matter what it takes. Laila looked up, her eyes meeting Melissa's, finding reassurance in her steady gaze. I believe it now more than ever. Thank you, Melissa, for tonight and for all the nights you've been by my side. Wink, wink. They shared a quiet moment with the warmth from the fireplace, and from their shared understanding filling the space between them. As long as it takes, Laila, we'll see this through together. I'm here too. Alright, the bedchamber was bathed in the soft light of early morning. Princess Laila sat at her elegant writing desk, a blank piece of parchment before her and a quill in hand. She was thoughtful and slightly troubled as she contemplated writing a letter to her betrothed, Prince Julian. Mother insists on diplomacy, on building bridges, even if they lead to places neither of us wishes to go. Lydia knew that she was expected to marry. especially now that she was well into her 20s, fast approaching 30 years old. Lydia? 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 What? She began to write, her hand steady but her heart not entirely in the words.
Dearest Prince Julian, go freak yourself,
is what she should write.
I hope this letter finds you in good health and spirits. I have reflected on our previous letters and communiques, particularly your insights into the responsibilities that bind us not only to our lands but also to the expectations placed upon us. It is a path laid out by tradition and duty, and though it may not always align with our personal desires, it is one we walk with the hope of bringing prosperity and peace to our people. I admire your commitment to these ideals and hope that we might find common ground in our shared aspirations for our kingdoms. With respect and regards, Princess Laila.
Then why did it say Lydia for earlier? What the hell? Laila set down her quill, sighing as she sealed the letter with her family's crest. A few days later, a reply arrived from Prince Julian. Yeah, they have some good post office there. His handwriting was meticulous, the words chosen with care, revealing formality tinged with melancholy. Dear Princess Laila, thank you for your thoughtful words. Indeed, it is in the quiet moments away from the court's castle that I too reflect on the path we are destined to walk. You're right to know the wave of tradition and duty. It is a mantle we bear, perhaps too willingly at times. There are days when I yearn for a simpler existence, one where choices might be guided by the heart rather than the crown. Yet we must play the roles fate has dealt us, and I'm grateful to have found a kindred spirit in you. May we both find the strength to meet the expectations before us, even as we seek the courage to forge our own paths where we can. With all due respect, Prince Julian. What a terrible letter. Laila read the letter slowly, her fingers tracing the words. Julian's voice seems to echo through the lines, a mixture of resignation and a faint, desperate hope for something different.
He feels it too. The pull between duty and desire. Perhaps understanding is the first step towards change.
She placed the letter in her drawer, a thoughtful frown caressing her brow as she looks out the window, pondering their shared future. Wait, what? The royal garden was bathed in sunshine, the rays casting gentle light onto the winding paths. Princess Laila walked slowly beside the tranquil, reflecting pool, her expression troubled. Miss Melissa approached her, concern evident on her face.
Laila, you seem far away today. Were your letters with Prince Julian not to your liking?
Princess Laila stopped and turned to face Miss Melissa, her voice filled with frustration.
It was as expected. Polite, formal, utterly suffocating. He speaks of marriage as though it's merely a contract between two states, not two souls.
I mean, wasn't it like that exactly? Miss Melissa listened intently, her face showing empathy as she nods understandingly.
Marriage, especially in royal circles, can often feel more like diplomacy than a union of hearts. It's a heavy burden to bear, especially for someone who values genuine connection as you do. I find myself dreading the idea of marriage day. How can I commit my life to someone who doesn't see me, who doesn't know me?
Miss Melissa sat beside her, her presence comforting.
It's a valid fear, Laila. Have you expressed these feelings to the parents? They too once faced the pressures of royal duty and personal desire. I tried, but they see these alliances necessary for the kingdom.
Why? Your kingdom looks freaking neat.
My feelings are secondary to the greater good. Perhaps it's time to make your feelings known more forcefully. You deserve a life filled with real love, not one bound by cold obligations.
Princess Laila leaned into Miss Melissa's embrace, grateful for the support.
What if I don't listen? What if I'm forced to choose between my duty and my happiness? Then we shall find a way together. No one should have to walk such a path alone. I will stand by you, Laila, whatever you decide. Thank you, Melissa. Knowing I have your support gives me strength. Maybe it's time for change. Perhaps even a new kind of leadership, one that values the heart as much as the crown.
Are we going to throw a revolution? I mean, in the way that would make things interesting. That night, the bedchamber was bathed in the soft, silvery glow of moonlight, filtering through sheer curtains. Princess Laila sat by the window, her expression contemplative as she gazed out at the stars. The door creaked gently, and Miss Melissa entered as she did every night. A shawl draped over her shoulders, she paused, sensing the intimate quiet of the night.
You seem more contemplative than usual, Laila. Is everything all right?
Laila turned, her face reflecting the moon's gentle luminescence. Her smile was warm yet tinged with a quiet loneliness.
The night sometimes seems so vast, so full of whispers and thoughts.
Miss Melissa walked over, taking a seat beside Laila. There was a comfortable silence, the kind shared by those who have grown accustomed to each other's presence.
The night can amplify our deepest feelings, can't it? It makes them feel closer, more urgent.
Laila nodded, her gaze meeting Miss Melissa's. There was a palpable, magnetic pull in the air, a shared connection that both comforted and disquieted them.
Melissa, do you ever feel drawn to something or someone without fully understanding why?
Miss Melissa's eyes reflected the depth of emotion. Her voice was soft and honest.
Yes, I have. It's both unsettling and beautiful, like the pull of the moon on the tide. It's natural to feel drawn, Laila, especially to those who stir the soul.
Their eyes locked, conveying more than words could express. The air around them seemed charged, the distance closing as they leaned slightly towards each other, bridging the gap between understanding and desire.
I feel that with you, especially on nights like this.
Miss Melissa reached out, her hand hesitantly touching Laila's. Her gesture was gently affirming.
And I with you, Laila. It's rare and precious, this bond we share.
They sat there, hand in hand, the world outside fading away. The connection deepened, not just through words, but through the silent language of shared solitude and mutual understanding. And we get cut. The throne room was bathed in a golden glow of the morning sun filtering through stained glass windows. The room was quiet except for the soft rustle of pages as Princess Laila and Miss Melissa sat across from each other at a heavy oak table surrounded by ancient tomes and scrolls. They had forgone the comforts of the bedchamber this night and had been discussing various magical theories and practices for hours. As the conversation dwindled for a moment, Laila hesitated, then gathered her courage to broach a more personal subject.
Melissa, we've talked about so many aspects of magic and life. I wonder, could you teach me about more intimate things? Things of the heart and soul?
Miss Melissa looked at Laila, understanding the delicacy and depth of her request. She set aside her scroll, her expression serious but open.
Of course, Laila. It's important to understand all the aspects of life, including the more personal, intimate ones. What exactly would you like to learn about? About relationships, emotions, perhaps even love. How do we know what's right for us? How do we navigate these feelings responsibly?
Miss Melissa nodded thoughtfully, then pulled a smaller, more delicately bound book from a nearby shelf.
Love, like magic, is a powerful force. It must be approached with respect and understanding. It involves knowing oneself first and foremost, recognizing one's needs, desires, and boundaries.
Laila listened intently, absorbing every word, her expression a mix of curiosity and contemplation.
And when it comes to relationships with others, communication is key. Always speak the truth, listen actively, and give your heart wisely.
You know what? That's actually good advices here. Yeah.
Respect and consent are the foundation upon which all healthy relationships are built. And if feelings change, how does one handle that gracefully? Change is part of life. as natural as the seasons. Handling it gracefully means being honest, both with oneself and with others, and accepting that sometimes paths diverge for the best.
Laila absorbed it, and a look of understanding dawned on her face.
Thank you, Melissa. Talking about these things, learning from you, it makes the path ahead seem less daunting. You're most welcome, Laila. Remember, you are never alone on this journey. I'm here, as are the others who care about you deeply.
I wonder about that. That night, when the castle was asleep, Princess Laila sat before Melissa. Her eyes flickered with curiosity as they locked gazes. Laila's voice was soft but commanding.
Teach me! How do I kiss?
She swallowed hard at the thought of it. The idea of pressing her lips against another's was both thrilling and terrifying all at once. To Laila's surprise, Miss Melissa remained calm at request. She got up from her chair and approached the bed where Laila lay. Melissa smiled kindly as she leaned in, cupping Laila's face gently between her hands.
Like this.
Miss Melissa pressed their lips together, a soft, gentle motion that quickly deepened into something more. Laila felt herself relaxing under the older woman's touch. It was like being wrapped up in a warm embrace that made her feel safe and loved.
Like this.
Melissa showed Laila how to move her tongue, exploring the other woman's mouth with eager curiosity. Still gazing, the sensation was foreign for Laila, yet oddly pleasurable, a feeling that sent shivers down her spine. They parted after a moment, both women breathless with passion and desire. The stillness of the night enveloped Princess Laila and Miss Melissa, their hands entwined. Each heartbeat seemed amplified in the quiet room, the moon casting a soft, soothing light over them.
Melissa, I've never felt this close to anyone. It's as if you reached into the very depths of my being and soothed parts of me I didn't even know that were restless. Melissa, I've never felt this close to anyone. It's as if you've reached into the very depths of my being and soothed parts of me I didn't even know were restless.
Miss Melissa's expression softened further, her eyes conveying both warmth and a slight apprehension.
Laila, this connection, it's something I cherish deeply, but we must tread carefully. The heart is a delicate in the path we are on.
She paused, searching for the words, her concern evident.
I know the risks, Melissa, but knowing what I feel, it would be a far greater sorrow. Whatever path this may lead us down, I want to explore it with you.
Miss Melissa took a deep breath, the wave of her decision visible in her eyes. She squeezed Laila's hand, affirming her own feelings.
Then, we shall explore it together, with open hearts. I'm here, Laila, with you, for as long as you wish me to be.
The moment lingered, a short silence that spoke volumes. Eventually, Laila leaned her head against Miss Melissa's shoulder, a gesture of trust and closeness. Miss Melissa wrapped her shawl around both of them, protective and affectionate act.
Thank you, Melissa, for being my confidant, my friend, and perhaps something more. And thank you, Laila, for your beautiful heart.
Princess Laila continued to be unable to sleep for what seemed like endless nights. As days turned into weeks, the two women found solace in each other's company. The castle was a lonely place when everyone else slumbered, and the only sounds that filled the air were their soft whispers, laughter, and the occasional creak of the old wooden floorboards. Only that, It was long before we started to see each other as more than just patient and healer, more than just friends. You don't say. One such night, with the first light of dawn still hours away, they found themselves in Princess Laila's chamber. The soft glow of a single candle cast shadows on their faces as they leaned close together.
Dr. Melissa,
her eyes fixated on Laila's pale skin, understandable, and delicate features, gently traced the curve of her neck with a single finger.
You're so beautiful,
Melissa murmured, her voice barely audible above the crackling of the fire in the hearth.
I can't help but want to touch you, taste you.
Lila's breath caught in her throat as she looked into Melissa's deep dark eyes. Her heart pounded against her chest, and a warmth spread from where their hands touched, radiating outwards until it enveloped her entire body. And then, without another word, they were kissing. It was an explosion of passion. Their tongues danced together, exploring each other's mouths with equal fervor, their hands roaming freely, pulling the other closer. Melissa's lips moved down Lila's neck, leaving behind a trail of hot, open-mouthed kisses. As Princess Laila lay there in the bed with Miss Melissa, the implications of their unexpected passion still sink in her mind.
But Melissa?
Laila whispered as her fingers traced patterns on her lover's body.
You're older than my mother.
What? Melissa chuckled softly, kissing Laila's forehead before replying.
Yes, I am. But that just means I know a thing or two about romance. Age is just a number, love.
No, we're not getting into that conversation. That's ridiculous. Being with someone who's older than your parent? No. That's messed up. Laila felt her cheeks flush as she considered Melissa's words.
Melissa, these nights with you, they've changed me. I feel as I'm discovering parts of myself I never knew existed. And I, who thought my days of discovery were long behind me, find myself equally transformed. This connection, Laila, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced.
Their closeness diminished the space between them, both physically and emotionally. Laila leaned in, her head resting against Miss Melissa's shoulder, a sign of contentment escaping her lips.
To think the peace I sought from the curse would come not from spells or potions, but from the quiet comfort of your own company.
Miss Melissa wrapped an arm around Laila. Pulling her closer, she spoke softly, each word laden with emotion.
This is a different kind of magic, Laila. One that no spell could conjure. It's real and powerful, and it frightens me a bit, truth be told. Don't be afraid.
Encouraged by Laila's words, Miss Melissa nodded. She tilted Laila's chin gently and planted a tender, affirming kiss on her lips.
Together then, for as long as the stars allow.
They lay in each other's arms all night. In the morning, a glance from the princess told the doctor that she wasn't about to leave the bedchamber anytime soon. Melissa gently guided Laila toward the edge of the bed where she lay down on her back. Seeing Laila's curiosity, Melissa took it upon herself to teach her princess, as we mentioned before. They lay together on the bed, with Melissa hugging Laila.
Look at me, Laila. I want you to learn.
A few moments later.
By the end of their lesson, both Princess Laila and Melissa were all super pleased. The next day, the chamber was set for a spell of considerable complexity and supposed potency. The room was scattered with various arcane tools and ingredients, crystals glowing faintly, herbs emitting puffs of scented smoke, and ancient scrolls laid out meticulously. Princess Laila and Miss Melissa stood in the center, surrounded by a carefully drawn circle of salt and crushed petals.
This time, Laila, I have a good feeling. The alignment of the stars, the phase of the moon, everything just as the old texts recommend.
Laila looked both hopeful and slightly amused as she glanced at the elaborate setup.
Every time you say that, Melissa, I can't help but wonder if the spell will end up turning me into a frog instead of breaking the curse. Fear not, my dear. The worst we managed is that incident with the singing flowers last week. Now, focus.
What? As Melissa started the incantation, her voice echoing slightly in the vast room. Laila closed her eyes, trying to concentrate amid the flickering candlelight and the odd, slightly musical hum of vibrating crystals.
And now, with the power bestowed by the ancients, release this curse.
She dramatically dropped a final, shimmering powder in the bowl, which immediately emits a loud, unexpected pop, followed by a burst of colorful smoke. When it cleared, Laila was standing, coughing slightly, covered head to toe in vibrant, glittering dust.
Well, I mean, at least it's not frogs this time. But if you're trying to make me sparkle at the next Royal Ball, I'd say this spell was a smashing success. Oh my. Well, that was not the intended result. But you do look quite radiant, my dear.
They both burst into laughter, the stress and disappointment eased by the ridiculousness of the situation.
Next time I'll cut back on the stardust. Perhaps the spell requires a more subtle touch. Or perhaps the magic spirits will just enjoy seeing us covered in more glitter.
They began to clean up the mess, their laughter echoing throughout the chamber, a moment of light-hearted camaraderie in their ongoing battle against the stubborn curse. After they finished, Miss Melissa turned to Laila.
Shall we try another one?
Together they began to chant the ancient words, their voices low and hypnotic as they called forth the powers beyond. But something was amiss. The air around them didn't shimmer or dance with energy like it should have done during an actual incantation.
Maybe you should try again.
Melissa nodded in agreement, her eyes filled with determination, but just as they began to chant once more, their bodies touched and a familiar fire blazed within them. And you know what might have happened, they kissed a bit. As the night approached, the light fading from their entwined bodies, a new worry took root in Melissa's mind.
What will happen?
Melissa whispered as she spoke, her voice heavy with concern.
If people find out that you are not chaste.
Okay. Laila shrugged, her expression calm despite the turmoil of emotions that swirled within.
I don't know. I don't know.
Next scene. That night was especially dark in the castle. Princess Laila sat alone in her bedchamber, lost in thought. With knock and click of handle, the door opened. It was Melissa, her face filled with warmth and concern, as she stepped inside, closing the door behind her. Laila's cheeks flushed red when Melissa immediately approached her bed. They both felt a tender vulnerability and a bit of shyness after their last conversation. Nevertheless, Laila nodded slowly, as if giving permission, trusting Melissa in her gentle nature. Melissa hugged her, and Laila relaxed under her touch.
Oh, Melissa.
With that, the two of them lay for the night, the doctor sleeping soundly and the princess awake but contained in the arms of her lover. As the sun began to rise over the castle walls, Princess Laila made her way down to the kitchen where Melissa was busy preparing another one of her potions. The air smelled of herbs and spices as the older one bustled about, measuring out ingredients with expert precision. Laila watched as Melissa worked, fascinated by the way she moved, a picture of grace and efficiency not so unlike Laila's own mother.
Do you need any help?
Laila offered up, feeling slightly self-conscious but eager to assist in some small way. Melissa looked up from what she was doing, a kind smile on her face as she regarded the princess.
Thank you, Laila, but no. This is something I have to do alone.
She gestured towards the bubbling cauldron in front of her, the steam wafting upward like tendrils of magic. Laila nodded, understanding, and left the doctor to her work for the day. The day passed uneventfully, and after a few failed spells in the evening, darkness settled on the castle once again. Eager to enter the nighttime sanctuary, Melissa and Laila returned to the princess's bedchamber. Melissa guided Princess Laila towards the bed where they both laid down.
I want you to kiss me.
Melissa instructed Laila softly. Laila hesitated for a moment before slowly moving to position, feeling nervous yet excited at the same time. And she did it! Ladies and gentlemen, she kissed the other girl. And then Melissa left the chambers to wash herself. For a moment. Because all the kissing got her a bit sweaty. Leaving Princess Laila in bed. The door to her chamber swung open and Lydia felt a sudden sense of trepidation. Who the hell is Lydia? There is no way Melissa could be back already. Lydia stepped in surprise. Who is Lydia? Staring at the figure that had entered.
Mother?
The woman standing before her was indeed Queen Beatrice, Laila's own mother, yet something about her features seemed off.
I wanted to say good night.
Queen Beatrice spoke softly to her daughter as she leaned over the bed.
And make sure everything is right.
She paused before continuing.
I know it's been a difficult time for you, but please know that I'm always here for you.
Laila stared at her mother, then felt her cheeks flush with embarrassment as she realized the direction her thoughts had taken. For a moment, she had almost confused her mother with Melissa. Did her mother know?
I'm sorry,
Laila whispered, feeling sheepish at her own mistake.
Take care, I didn't mean to,
She trailed off, unsure of how to finish the thought.
It's alright, I understand.
There was a hint of sadness in the queen's eyes.
Just remember that no matter what happens, you are loved and cherished by those around you.
And with that, Laila's mother left her chambers, closing the door behind her. Huh? Whatever. The room was warmly lit by a crackling fire, and several oil lamps that casting a soft golden glow against the walls. Thick, plush carpets muffled their footsteps as Princess Laila paced nervously, her hands ringing together. Miss Melissa sat in a large, comfortable chair, a book of ancient spells on her lap, watching Laila with a concerned expression.
Melissa, I'm worried. I think my mother suspects that our nightly meetings are more for companionship than for breaking the spell. If she thinks we're not taking this seriously...
Understand your concern, Laila. The Queen has always been perceptive. We must be more circumspect. It wouldn't do for your trusting me to lead to my imprisonment.
I couldn't bear it if you were punished because of me. Perhaps it's time we try some different approaches to lifting the curse. More traditional methods that would treasure her.
Very well, let's double the efforts. I'll delve into the older magics. Perhaps there is an obscure spell or potion we've overlooked. Anything that might show quick, tangible results to ease her suspicions.
Laila nodded, visibly relieved at the plan, but still tense.
Yeah, let's do that. And maybe keep our discussions more focused on the task at hand when others might be listening.
I shall be the very picture of dedicated, dour old sorceress, poring over her dusty tomes.
Laila managed a small smile, her affection for Miss Melissa mixing with her anxiety.
And I'll be the dutiful princess, studious and solemn. No one will doubt our dedication.
They shared a quiet laugh and the tension eased slightly.
We'll find a way, Laila, not just to convince your mother, but to truly free you from this curse. Together, we can do this.
Laila looked at Miss Melissa with an expression of renewed determination and trust.
Let's get to work.
It took great effort, but Laila and Melissa managed to get through the day without a single intimate glance or touch. GG. However, when night fell and they returned to Laila's bedchambers, Laila touched Melissa's shoulder and looked her straight in the eyes.
I know we said we would not continue, but there is so much kissing I want to do with you. Please, just one more time.
And Melissa was unable to say no to Laila's large blue eyes. And kiss her a lot. And the next day, the chamber was cluttered with an assortment of mystical paraphernalia, glowing crystals, bubbling potions, ancient leather-bound tomes. Princess Laila, both hopeful and skeptical, stood beside Miss Melissa, who was setting up a complex arrangement of candles and herbs in a precise pattern on the floor. The air was thick with the scent of lavender and sage.
Now, Laila, this spell's a bit unorthodox. It was used by the ancient mages of your vale to calm stormy seas. I've adapted it slightly. Storms of the mind are not so different from those at sea, after all.
Laila raised her eyebrows at Melissa.
If this doesn't work, maybe you could try knitting me a blanket from moonbeams or something.
A creative suggestion? I'll add it to the list. Now, stand there, and whatever happens, try to stay within the circle.
Laila stepped in the corner of the candlelit pattern, watching as Miss Melissa began chanting in an old melodious language. The candles flickered, the air seemed to thicken, but then...
Nothing! No change.
Miss Melissa kissed her, chanting, and furrowed her brow.
Well, how do you feel? The same, I'm afraid. Unless it was meant to make me hungry. Perhaps you didn't need more moonbeam. No matter, we have more to try. What about a potion? I have a recipe that involves starlight capture during a lunar eclipse.
What?
Supposed to be quite effective for matters of the mind. Starlight and moonbeams. You're determined to turn me into a celestial being, aren't you? It's all part of my grand plan. Come, let's concoct this potion. It will take a few days. If nothing else, it should taste better than most. Before we do, however, I need your input. There are 2 directions I believe we can follow for this special potion.
Focus on the prince. Focus on the heart's desire. Who cares about the prince? Like, loser. Focus on the heart's desire. The room was quiet, save for the soft rhythmic ticking of an ornate clock and the gentle crackle of the fire in the hearth. Princess Laila and Miss Melissa sat beside the fire wrapped in warm plush blankets. A small table between them held 2 steaming cups of tea. They had grown so close over countless days and nights that their conversations were easy and familiar.
Laila, we've tried every spell in my book, consulted the stars and stones. Even the whispers of the wind. I fear my failure might lead me straight to the dungeon. Miss Melissa, you've done more for me than anyone. You've given me hope and companionship in my darkest hours. No one could ask for more. But what is a magician if her magic finds no mark? I promise to leave the cursed, yet it clings to stubborn as stone.
Lydia reached out, placing a gentle hand on Miss Melissa's cheek.
And yet, through this, you've taught me about resilience, about finding light in the darkest places. Perhaps that's a more profound magic, one that no dungeon can contain.
Miss Melissa looked at Laila, a mix of admiration and gratitude in her eyes.
Well, if I'm to be thrown to the dungeon, ensure it's one with a view, at least of the stars.
I mean, given the fact that dungeons are under the ground, it might be kinda rough. Whatever. They shared a soft laugh, the tension easing slightly. Suddenly the fire flickered, strangely casting an odd shadow. Miss Melissa's gaze sharpened.
Did you see that? Even the flames speak in riddles around you. Perhaps we've been looking for answers in the wrong places. Maybe the magic we need is quieter, more subtle kind. Yeah. Perhaps it's not about breaking the spell with force, but understanding its nature, its origin. Let's start from the beginning once more.
They turned back to the books and scrolls. The room was bathed in the soft, gentle light of morning. Princess Laila and Miss Melissa were seated near the window, the air between heavy with the scent of spring flowers from the garden below. Miss Melissa held a small ancient jeweled locket in her hands, examining it closely, her brow furrowed in thought.
Laila, in our searching, all our questioning of spells and magic, we overlooked the simplest truth. Sometimes the greatest bindings are those we place on ourselves.
Princess Laila shifted uncomfortably, her gaze avoiding Miss Melissa's, her hands nervously twisted the fabric of her gown.
What do you mean? This locket. It's more than just an heirloom, isn't it? It's a symbol. Perhaps of a burden, duty, or a secret you've been guarding.
Laila bit her lip, her eyes welling up with tears. She took a deep breath, finding courage.
It is a locket to commemorate my betrothal. I have never wished to marry the prince. It has always felt wrong, like a path laid out by the others, not chosen by me. Oh, go on, my dear. Truth often frees more than just the speaker. I've always dreamed of a different life, one where I could choose my heart's true match, and my heart, it yearns not for a prince, but for a princess.
Miss Melissa's eyes softened, understanding the depth of Laila's confession.
And so the spell may not be a curse from without, but a manifestation of your own fears, your own desires fighting to be acknowledged.
This is AI-generated as hell. Tears began to stream down Laila's face.
I've been so afraid of disappointing everyone, of the chaos it could cause, but hiding this truth has been like living half alive.
Miss Melissa reached out, taking Laila's hands in hers.
No magic I wield is stronger than the truth in your heart. Laila, it's time we confront this now, not with spells but with the courage of your convictions. Let us think on how to reveal this truth, to find a path that honors your desires and your duties.
Laila nodded, a wave lifted from her shoulders. The study was a cozy, inviting room filled with books, scrolls, and ancient artifacts. Sunlight filtered through the stained glass, casting vibrant patterns on the floor. Princess Laila sat at an ornate desk, her expression a mixture of resolve and nervousness. Miss Melissa, wise and matronly, stood near a towering bookshelf, tumbling through a tome filled with lore and legends.
Now, Laila, revealing one's heart is much like casting a powerful spell. Timing, ingredients, and a dash of courage are key. But how do you find the right time? The courage is always so busy, so bustling. My dear, we create the moment. Why not during the Harvest Festival Ball? Harvest Festival? That could work. It's less formal than the usual event, and everyone's spirits are high. Exactly. We script a scene where a princess chooses her own path. I can imagine a better guardian, Melissa. I'll speak my truth. Laila, whatever happens, know this. You are not alone. You are braver than you believe, and this old healer will always stand by you.
Laila rose to embrace Miss Melissa, her heart lighter than it has been in ages.
Thank you, Miss Melissa, for everything.
They parted, and Laila looked out the window, her gaze determined yet dreamy. Miss Melissa watched her fondly, proud of the princess's courage.
Now, let's find a spell for nerve calming, shall we? Something that says boldness, with a hint of can't back out now.
Laila laughed, her laughter mingling with the light streaming through the window, filling the room with warmth. Melissa and Laila's eyes met once again, but Laila turned away. As she gazed out the royal gardens below, Laila knew she had to make another decision. Focus on the future. Focus on Melissa. Yes. Of course it's Melissa, come on. The ballroom was adorned in splendor, draped in cascades of silk and illuminated by hundreds of twinkling candles that cast a warm golden glow. Nobles from far and wide filled the room, their garments as full of colors as they danced to a majestic orchestral melody. At the front, Princess Laila stood resplendent, in a gown that sparkles with the light of the stars themselves, her presence commanding the attention of all. Okay.
Dear friends, tonight I stand before you not just as your princess, but as one who seeks to live truthfully. For too long a spell has clouded my nights and days, a spell but born not of dark magic, but of a heart in concealment.
The music softened, and the crowd drew closer, hanging on her every word.
This spell bound not because I fear to acknowledge my true feelings, but I stand here now to tell you that I seek a life joined not by a prince, but to one whose spirit and kindness have captured my heart.
The room held its breath, some anticipating, others wondering.
Miss Melissa, in our time together you have shown me not just the depths of magic, but the greater power of understanding and affection. It is you, dear heart, who I have come to love.
Miss Melissa was taken aback, and her eyes widened with surprise and emotion. What? Why? The older woman stepped forward to the young woman, trembling with emotion before her. And boom, rejected. The crowd gasped softly. A mix of murmurs filling the air as the revelation settles.
Hey, good, that prince was such a piece of shit. Who cares about the prince, man? Let the princess have her own girl, yeah!
Anyway.
I mean, have you seen this doctor? God damn it. I would date the doctor myself if I could.
That's all the people in the hall. Oof. Anyway.
Oh, Laila, my brave, beautiful princess. To think that I too, in guiding your heart to freedom, found my own caught up in yours.
As they gaze into each other's eyes, the shimmering veil of the curse visibly lifts from around Laila, dissolving the air like warding mist under the sun's first rays. The room bursts in applause, not just for the lifting of the curse, but for the courage of true love revealed. Ooh.
What is a kingdom without love? Let be known that here we honor truth, in all its forms.
The queen nodded knowingly, her smile beaming as she joined the applause.
To love means the truth. Our kingdom's greatest strength.
Right. Laila and Miss Melissa, their hands still clasped, step on the dance floor. The orchestra resumed, playing a beautiful, slow melody fit for a tale of unexpected love. They danced, surrounded by the warmth of their people, their love, a gentle but undeniable declaration. The curse lifted. Lydia slept soundly every night.
The end. Thanks for playing.
Right, so we are finished. So, I mean, it is probably like half an hour long game, right? Without reading it out loud. What can I say? I mean, you can tell some stuff was written with the usage of AI. Sadly, you can also tell that it was used for generating the pictures, which is sad. Because as far as I could tell, in the games we've played by Leaflet games in the past, they didn't do it. God damn it. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in that department, that's for sure. But well, whatever. This is going to be on the channel. Dude, it's the second game in not in a row, but in short span of time where this happens. Kind of. Again, man, Christmas was so busy. So I, cannot do full research, I guess, about the games we're playing. But yeah, sweet summer days. Unfortunately, AI generated stuff there. And now, Princess Laila Doesn't Sleep. Similar situation. It's sad to see that. You know. Stop using goddamn AI, people. Full page art CGs by Leaflet games with stable diffusion. Yeah, god damn it. Whatever. I mean, the thing is, I do believe that there is more than one person in this. Like, team. So, in a way, it's kinda, annoying. Because feels like you could have that, if you have a group, you could have someone doing the artworks and so on their own properly. But if it was just one person, I maybe would be like, alright, you get a pass. You might not be able to draw. Fine. Alright. But then again, there is also the text that felt AI written. So yeah. That sucks. But then again, maybe I'm wrong. For it felt like I'm not. Overall, I mean, the idea, okay. The idea is pretty decent. A curse that turns out to not be a curse, but basically... I guess you could say, in a way, it was kind of, I mean, in a way, a depression, I guess. I mean, given the fact that, you know, obviously there are different types and so on. For different people, something different can cause it, right? And so on. But yeah, in her situation, in Laila's situation, it was, I don't know why it's Lydia from time to time. But yeah, it could have caused, I guess, the problems with sleep and so on. That's true. And, well, in her case, it was just the fact that she didn't want to be with a prince. And she didn't want to live the life that was not her actual own path, right? That she would pave for herself, but a path paved or created by her parents in a way. So yeah, she didn't like that. Yeah, I mean, I guess it could influence your well-being. Yeah. I guess it's good that Melissa appeared there and saved the day. Or saved the life. Alright, we're gonna end it for today. Maybe for the next game I'll actually do more research. Yeah, I should. With that being said, let us end it. As always, consider liking the video, subscribing and so on. Always appreciate it. And I wish you all a wonderful day. Also, because we're approaching the end of the year, you know, Happy New Year too. Hope you have a 2025 that is better than all the previous years. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Alright, have a great one. Bye bye.